Hi, and welcome to another edition of Pauline Interviews. Before I get started on a very interesting interview with Ash, I'm going to tell you briefly that we are here at the Crystal Crossroads in Newburgh, and I want to thank Ellen Hardy, the proprietor and owner of this lovely place. It's a wonderful shop, and if you live anywhere nearby or if you make a little trip out, come and see what she has to offer. Amazing crystals and anything metaphysical, some beautiful items here. So thank you, Crystal Crossroads and Ellen, for letting me use your space for my interviews. And now I want to welcome Ash. And your name is Ashley. I just want to establish that, but we're going to call you Ash because I wondered where the name Ash came from. Now I know, it's no mystery. Ash Marshall O'Donnell.
Odell.
Odell.
Yes,
nice name. Thanks for correcting me. I'm not very good with names.
That makes two of us.
That makes two of us. Yes, we talked about that. So Ash is she does a lot of different things, and I'll just mention them briefly. She's a Reiki master. She also works with chakras, and she also works with crystals, and that's what we're going to focus on today, crystals, and how we use crystals to heal, and how we select the right crystals, and how we also energize and clean our crystals. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into it because that's her expertise and not mine, although I love crystals myself. So Ash, thank you so much for being here. And I always love to establish a person's credibility and how they got started in the field. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
My original background was actually in corporate America and teaching. And about 4 years ago, I had what you would call a spiritual awakening. I knew nothing about metaphysical anything. And I walked into a crystal shop while on a retreat with a group. And I was immediately and intensely drawn to several crystals. And I just literally was, they're coming home with me. Had no idea what I was doing. I just wanted them. And so I took them home to the house that evening, and I just knew where to put them on my body. And I literally felt energy flow through me for the first time in my life. It was like this massive whoosh of energy just traveled right down my body. And it was absolutely incredible, and I had zero idea what was going on. And so from that point forward, I began to research and try and discover what exactly all of this meant.
That's incredible, because since I was a little girl, I've been attracted to crystals, but not the way it happened gradually. And, I collect them. I don't know what to do with them. I just like the beauty of them. Mm-hmm. But that's amazing. I mean, did something precipitate this? Did something happen in your life that maybe you needed help and so something guided you to them? Or
always. There are beings all around us all the time. We have higher spiritual guides. We can be simply on a path where we're researching and learning something, and something will click for us. Mm-hmm. There are so many different methods and means through which we can receive guidance. Human beings, interest in reading, all of those different things can literally set us where we need to go. We have an inner guidance system that really is very helpful in taking us to the path that we need to go down for our own.
But you didn't even ask for it, it just happened.
I had actually been doing some work on myself for about a year, and just discovering how to be the best me possible. And I had been doing some reading, and it was principally more about just making some changes in how I thought and figuring out what I wanted to do with my life. And all of a sudden, snap, there it was.
So you did kind of open up a door because you were seeking and searching.
In a way, I really was just trying to figure things out. And it was really just sort of a subconscious thing, I think, principally in certain regards. So it was interesting.
And where did you get your training?
In crystals, myself, actually. Karuna Reiki, there is a place in Eugene, and I studied both Holy Fire Usui, and then I went to get the additional certification for Karuna Reiki. So I do both, plus teach. And it was transformative for me in every respect in my life. I had severe issues with pain, and I had stenosis, scoliosis, and there was the point at which I was spending my life in 30-minute increments, lie down 30 minutes, stand up 30 minutes, walk 30 minutes, sit 30 minutes, all day long. And I had times where I would literally lie in my bed and had 20-minute long muscle spasms with my knees pulled up to my chest. And I was miserable. I had very limited mobility, and pain is incredibly draining on a person. And through Holy Fire Reiki, I actually healed enormously. So I have mobility like I did in my 20s, and it's wonderful.
Did you, I heard you say spinal stenosis and
Scoliosis.
scoliosis. Did you try any chiropractors or?
I did. I had tried every method available to me in Western medicine. So chiropractic, acupuncture, massage, all of those. And I went over and over and over. And it helps a lot of people. But for me, there was simply an additional element needed to actually fix that.
I am familiar with Reiki, and it is amazing. And we're going to interview you another day with that topic, because it is amazing. It does really help people. That's fabulous that you've found Reiki. Now you said, well, we'll talk about it later. I just want to talk about it because I know about it, but we'll stick to
Sure.
crystals. So crystals are one of the tools you use, but I also know that you do healing work, and you use sacred geometry, quantum physics, energy work, which obviously is Reiki, right?
Actually, there are a few different, I use different lights. So it's all related, honestly. So if you were to consider the spectrum of visible light, right?
Visible light.
Visible light. We have a range of hertz. Everything's measured in hertz, vibration. So our eyes pick up on the vibrations of the light, and we interpret that, right? Our ears receive vibrations, is how we hear, and we feel vibrations. You know, literally, you know, you can feel a vibration with your hand if someone hits something. So once we begin to consider that, we determine that if you can understand the vibration of something and you can feel what's going on with that, you can pull that energy into yourself or send it out to someone else. And that's really what it's all about. Reiki is healing energy, a frequency, a range of very high vibrational energies that we send to heal. Crystals are very similar. So what they do is we find the crystals that resonate with us in particular chakra or chakras, and we want it so that the hertz, the vibration, is slightly above what we are, so that it can pull that out. If you go too high above it, it doesn't do anything. So for instance, if you were to think of tuning forks, if you strike a tuning fork with an F, it will start vibrating like this. If you bring another one of the same note, both will start vibrating. You can go a little bit higher and vibrate faster, and that's what literally pulls that negative, neutral, low vibration energy out and sends positive vibrations into the chakra, and that's how that works.
So I think you mentioned that different crystals work well for different people, so not everybody would resonate with certain crystals. So
Correct.
How do you find the right crystal to resonate with the right person?
I do aura readings. So I am highly kinesthetic, so if you were to consider 100% to be the top for kinesthetic, I'm at about 98, 99%.
Kinesthetic means feeling.
Feeling, right. So I read vibrations through my body, but I prefer my hands because it's way less information. And I scan a body and figure out which crystals. Usually, though, what I do is if a person makes an appointment the day before, I energetically determine which ones they need before I go to them in person, so I can just take the ones that are needed for the appointment.
You tune into them.
I do.
People don't understand that because they don't understand, because we see solids. They don't understand, this is vibrating, you can't see it. And when you said different vibrations, like we can hear certain vibrations. There's a dog whistle. The dog can hear it, but we can't.
Yes.
So just because we can't hear and see doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We have a certain spectrum where we can see, where we can hear, and where we can even feel. But some people like you and other people that have worked on it can open up their channels so that they can feel, hear, and see more. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that is.
Okay. So like, we don't have anybody here but me and Phil, and I need Phil to do the camera. So is there any way, can you see, or did you need time to see what crystal would work for me?
That's not a problem at all. May I?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you can
No,
just
just sit
there.
here.
I'm going to just come a little bit forward.
Okay.
So grounding crystals would be really great for you. Carnelian is a wonderful one. Agate is. Carnelian works great on the root chakra, which is our lowest chakra. In regards to feet, I generally like to put obsidian, jet, smoky quartz, sometimes the Reiki stone, and it's called that, interestingly enough, because it's one of the stones that is beyond excellent for Reiki healing. It actually increases the transmission.
I just want to move that. Yeah, I want to see that. And then,
it's a combination of apophyllite and stilbite.
Now, since I also am a Reiki, but level 2, not a master, maybe that's a stone I should have.
I love that to work with Reiki. So when you're giving yourself Reiki,
Yeah.
you can literally, if you're working on a particular chakra, put it underneath your hand, turn your Reiki on, and it just magnifies that healing energy. And it allows you to receive it.
I'll have to make
better.
a note of that, find one of those. That's terrific. You did that very quickly, and I've got to say, you don't know me. I just met you today, and I do have an issue with grounding because I'm so into the other realm. I sometimes don't ground myself. In fact, I have a friend that does essential oils, and she gave me something. All of a sudden, I felt like my feet were lead. So why is it important for me to ground myself?
Grounding allows us literally to pull our energies into our body. Most people, due to stress and just the number and amount of stimuli in our environments, we spend a great deal of time out of our own bodies. Like our energies literally are up here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right. You see that frequently. And so when we ground, what we're literally doing is pulling our own energies down into our body, which is where they really need to be. We're in a body and we need to be fully connected to it to feel our best and to operate.
That makes sense. It has nothing to do with energy because I'm high energy level whether or not I'm in my body. It seems to go on and on. I don't know why, but it does. So you also use tarot, so I just mentioned some of the things you work with, and you make oil blends, essential oils to help with chakra work. And you make energy tools and use art, soul art.
I do. So if we were to consider the history of our world before spoken language, there are symbols carved all over the world in rocks, painted on cave walls. And these are inherently connective for us. So you will see frequently spirals. You will see crosses, circles, triangles. It's all throughout our world, including in Egypt, and it was for spiritual work.
Is that sacred geometry, or
that is sacred geometry and symbols.
That's another whole topic. Boy.
It is. It's very rich and very dense and absolutely fascinating. I'm very drawn. But if we were to consider everything as an archetype, even crystals are archetypes, then we can go in and discover within ourselves what we need for our personal journey. So for instance, the rhombus, the kite shape. So if you can think about, you have feminine and masculine energies, right?
Yes.
So you have the masculine and the feminine side in our bodies across this way. But we also have divine feminine, we call Mother Earth, and divine masculine, Father Sun, or center of the universe, however you prefer to think about it. And when we can balance these energies within ourselves, we feel our best. So sometimes we need to receive, sometimes we need to give, and there are literally shapes that have the meanings for that. And
that's wonderful. We'll have to do another interview on sacred geometry. And I completely understand the balance, and that's how people get ill. They're out of balance. And I hate to say this, but I think the medicine of this country just addresses the body when we need to address the body, mind, and spirit.
Yes.
And I think crystals address all three, don't they?
They do. They're amazing healers in a variety of ways and have very specific purposes, some of them, to connect us in ways with higher energies or with earth energies, because we really need both.
Yeah, and after I said that, I realized I wrote down a few things from you, from what I was reading about you, and you say people get relief from stress and pain with the work you do, body, mind, and spirit. You help them discover what they need to move forward.
Yes.
So how do you do that with the crystals?
Well, the crystals are simply a tool that we use to get rid of blocks. When we're blocked, we feel stuck.
Energy blocks.
Absolutely, energy blocks, which have a physical component, of course. So when we release the energy of things, our body dumps chemicals. So if you were to look at it from a physiological standpoint, our body creates what it needs based on amino acids. We store them, we have a storehouse of them, and we pull them out to make things. If we have a block, so we have an energy where things can't work, they're stuck, we're not able to get rid of things, and those amino acids, they're not doing very well inside of us, for instance with digestion issues. And once we release that, our body releases those chemicals that have gotten stuck there, those amino acids, which is why we want to drink a lot of water, because we're flushing out toxins. Right. Our liver is our filter organ, and it frequently becomes stuck because we have food and we have electromagnetic smog. We have emotional residue because our emotions also have a vibration. For instance, shame is the lowest vibration at 20 hertz.
Shame is the lowest vibration. Oh, shame.
Fear, yes. You have guilt, and then you have fear at about 100. And then at 150...
What about hate?
Hate is a lower one as well, and I really would say...
Resentment.
All of them. There's a vibration for each one.
Anger.
Anger is 150.
Sometimes anger it depends on how you channeled your anger.
It is. It's transformative because that's the point at which we're ready to make change. We're angry, so I'm going to do something about that. We get the drive to go forward. So anger, if channeled correctly and used well, can be really transformative.
We may have to do a second part on this. This is so incredible. But before we go, when you said the grounding rock, it just resonated with me. So could you give me that grounding rock, and how would you said I would hold it and...
Carnelian.
Carnelian.
So it's great for the root chakra. The root chakra is the lowest chakra on our torso. And so you place that there and you can lie with it. And it
you
helps
just lay down with it. Yeah.
That's what I do with crystal healing as clients come in. I select music that allows them to relax and drift. And then I test and figure out which crystals need to go where, place them on the body or beside, depending, because you would not want that on your throat. That would be very uncomfortable.
Ooh, ouch.
Right? So we place it on, whichever side it needs to be on, and they will have a chance to lay there for about 20-25 minutes, and the crystals pull. I check in energetically. I usually leave the room so they can just be, and occasionally I come in and I will switch crystals out because there's a second part to the healing that needs to be accomplished.
We need to talk more about crystals, but we're going to do a part 2.
Sure.
Because we want to keep it, within a certain time frame, and then we'll come back and I want to talk more about crystals, if you're by yourself in the store, how you select one, and how you care for them, and how you clean them, and how you use them. Does that sound good?
That sounds wonderful.
Thanks, Ash. Thank you so much for watching Pauline Interviews. We're going to do part 2, so stay tuned. Once again, I want to thank the Crystal Crossroads and the Ellen for letting me use their space. And also, if you like our show, please tell your friends about it. And also, we'd love for you to subscribe. You'll get information on when our next shows are coming up. Thanks so much.